The cruelest act came on July 1st, 1923, ironically on Dominion Day. Now it's called Canada Day. To the Chinese, it was Humiliation Day, when Canada slammed the doors shut on Chinese immigrants. It caused unspeakable hardship on the community.
I've always kind of been curious about why my father was a paper son, because my great-grandfather had been here and he paid the head tax and all that, that process that everybody in that generation went through. So I was always wondering, why did my dad need to become a paper son? Paper son is because of the head tax and Exclusion Act prevented families to continue the bloodline in North America, not just Canada, but in the Caribbean, US, and here, basically all of the Americas. And so the restriction kind of resulted this, I guess it was sort of an underground movement, and it was illegal. A lot of people that went back to China ended up like selling selling their papers, and then people that wanted to come here that didn't have kind of connection here yet would buy an identity and take that on as their identity to get to America.
After the Second World War, a lot of documentation was lost. So the Canadian government accepted the idea of an affidavit. So you can swear that, say, okay, I have, I am so-and-so, I have a wife and her name is so-and-so, and I have 2 sons. And some people, they might have only 1 son, but they actually have an extra paper, and they will either give that paper to somebody or they might sell it, to finance, their family's trip and so on and so forth. So this was made, it was an illegal attempt to do this stuff, but they had no choice. Family reunion is no choice. These people were immigrants. And the whole diabolical thing about the 1923 Exclusion Act was that they were hoping, the white population was hoping that at the end of this whole tenure, and they felt it would go forever, at some point there'd be no Chinese left in continental Canada.
During that exclusion period, my grandfather did travel to China several times, but he wasn't able to bring my mother or my aunt, my grandmother over until the Exclusion Act was lifted in '47. So my relatives came in and around 1940. It was about 1949. But during that exclusion period, my uncle, who I didn't have the chance to meet, died over in China. Had he been allowed to come here, he probably his outcome perhaps would have been different, or my grandfather would have been allowed to have that relationship with my uncle had he not been excluded.
The old people kind of looked out for my dad by arranging a marriage. Whether people want to talk about it, that's what they did. My dad had never met my mom until she got off the plane.